Here we are. We are looking at il- um, illustrations or illuminations for books. And this was the last one we looked at, the Bramger in the Green Pavilion. This is the night journey of Muhammad on his steed. It's a gold leaf from the, or it's a leaf with gold leaf from a copy of Bustan of Succeed. And this is about Alexander the Great. Notice the differences between this. It has no shadows, so it is completely flat. They're very elaborate and dressed, and the whole thing is very richly decorated parts throughout with intricate details. It's very flat. There is a marriage of text and calligraphy with the um, illustration itself. So there's calligraphy at the top and the bottom. And the warlike scene is fanciful. Artists who do this today call their work naive or primitive, and usually I would use it myself as illustration in books for this matter. So you see, we've been doing this for quite a long time. All right, this is a picture of a paper mill, which was established in Baghdad. Paper was actually invented in China, and it really changed everything once paper came over for calligraphy. That they were using parchment, which is very difficult to make. And in order to prepare a piece of paper for the ink, it's a elaborate process which includes soap and scraping and getting it to be so that the ink just flows over very slick. So it was a lot easier than using parchment, but it really made it possible for people to get books and to learn from them, and that was an important part of their advancement, which affected their scholarship and education, as well as all around the world at the same time. All right, here is a folio verso of Shahnameh of Shah Tamap. I don't know. It's from Tabriz, Iran, 1525 to 1535. And you see it's from the court of Gayumars. And if we go to the next one, it is Muhammad bin Alzin. It's a basin. And again, this is a very beautifully decorated piece of metal with silver and gold inlaid on bronze. So and you imagine how that would look in one color. It wouldn't be nearly as beautiful, even though it is very ornate. So it allows this to be more enjoyable as a decorative piece. All right, and this has calligraphy around the outside. So I don't know what it says, but undoubtedly it is a Quran piece, and it has an Arabic proverb, excuse me, from Nishpur, Iran. Most of them are that I've seen dishes like this that have Quran all the way around the outside of a dish. Quran is every bit part of daily life. So it's painted and glazed earthenware. So the calligraphy is painted on before it is fired, and then it's fired again with glaze. This is a moss lamp of, I don't know, from Egypt, glass with enamel decorations. It's in the British Museum. And here is another brass piece with inlaid silver. Incredibly beautiful. This is episodes from the life of Christ in Syria. All right, so we're going to finish up by going to India. And India is also part of the Islamic world. The borders have changed frequently from the 7th century to present, but a great deal of the world is now Islamic um, in belief systems. And we will start with the Taj Mahal. In Agra, India. It was made in 1632 to 1641. It's like a white pearl floating in the blue sky. Very, very gorgeous piece of architecture, not just on the outside, but on the inside. Look how immaculately elaborate this is. The grounds represent a vast funerary garden and gardens found in the heaven of Islamic tradition. So, and there's just so many people who visit this every day. The minarets act like a picture frame, directing the views to the monument. You see intricate floral and geometrical inlays. It has an onion-shaped dome and small kiosk domes to lessen the severity of that onion dome. It was named for Mumtaz Mahal, the deceased wife of Shah Jahan, who died giving birth to her 14th child. Built to serve as Mumtaz Mahal's tomb, Shah Jahan was buried there next to her in his death. There's a symmetrical harmony of design, like a mirror image on each side. One large arch flanked by two smaller arches, typical Islamic. My grandmother had 12, 14, my goodness. Many small windows light the interior as well. And so again, it has that feeling of floating heaven dome at the top. Um, it has decorative mosaics and tile work throughout. You see the interior is octagonal with 8 pillars resting on a set of walls on each side. Very open air interior. All right, so we're going back to the island of Delhi in Djinni in Africa. This is the Djinni Mosque, and it is the only mosque like itself. It requires constant work because it's made of adobe, just like our buildings in Santa Fe, New Mexico. So in Africa at the time, they had mainly mud. And it is the largest mud-built structure in the world today, and imagine it was made in the 13th century. So it says it was rebuilt in 1906 to 1907, but you see the ladders on it, and people are continually working on it. So it dwarfs the city of Djinni. Imagine seeing a towering mosque with everything else is low-rise adobe buildings. There's the eastern facade of that. It was founded between 800 and 1250 current era. It's become one of the most important buildings in its town. It's also a political symbol for the local residents and for colonial powers, like the French who took control of the Mali in 1892. And over the centuries, it's become the center, religion, and cultural life in Mali and the community of Djinni. And they were plastering the Great Mosque there.